Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, inside the business, buzz, and brilliance of Black entrepreneurs. Here is your host, Dr. Frances Richards.
Thank you for joining us for Black Entrepreneur Experience. This is where we shine the light on the most successful Black entrepreneurs in the world. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards. I'm so honored to have Vernetta Freeney, aka the Truth Confidant. She's an award-winning blogger, speaker, and podcaster of A Toast to Truth. Thank you so much, Vernetta, for joining us on Black Entrepreneur Experience.
Thank you for having me.
I've shared a very brief bio about you. Why don't you fill in the gaps and tell us about you and your company?
Well, I started the Truth Confidant officially in January 2017, but I spent all of 2016 transitioning my audience from my previous business. And what the Truth Confidant is, I teach entrepreneurs and educators how to protect their peace and not let stress interrupt their life. So I teach a mental detox method using journaling so that people are able to declutter their thoughts, but also be able to find their me time, be able to dig deep into who they are so that they can shine and increase their productivity.
Vernetta, how did you decide this was the business for you? And what was that aha moment that you knew it was going to be successful?
Would probably say it kind of just fell into my lap. Everyone saw me as this woman empowerment type business with my previous business. But 2 years ago, in the middle of running that business, I realized that I was doing so much for people, clients, customers, my online audience, that I was neglecting myself. And in the process of doing for everyone, I also realized I was doing for them, but they weren't really financially supporting the business. They asked and requested a lot, and I was giving it to them, but I realized I was not getting the financial benefits in return. So after doing some soul searching, and I had a mental meltdown a couple of years ago, I realized that a lot of entrepreneurs are giving, but we're not taking care of ourselves in the process, and we're not taking care of our mental state. When I started on this journey about 5.5 years ago, I think it was about 2012, 2013, I started reading and seeing a lot of articles about entrepreneurs committing suicide. It was just, and these were well-known entrepreneurs. And I kind of just put it on the back burner. I knew, there's a lot of stress that we go through. But as I started to go through my personal process of recovering who I am and getting out of the mental fog and talking to other people, I realized that everyone feels that they're in this deep hole by themselves and they're just stuck there. Mentally, a lot of entrepreneurs can't get out because they're drowning in all of the responsibilities they have running their business, taking care of their family, being a productive member of society. So I realized that if I can teach them skills that they can use every day to help them kind of stay above the hole, then I would be able to actually have a business that I would want to get up every single day and do. And so it kind of just fell into my lap, and I just kind of slowly progressed that way. It wasn't like I jumped right in and said, yeah, I'm going to do this. Because, talking about people's mental state is such a taboo topic. So I knew I had to approach it very delicate and very strategic. So it took an entire year of me transitioning people to see me as someone sharing. And then I officially launched April 2017 with putting a lot of information out there. So it wasn't, I would say it was a 14-month launch. I'll put it that way. So for people who think, oh, I have this great idea and I can run and go, you really need to look at the idea itself and not only check the viability, but also check and see if the audience is ready for it. Because sometimes our ideas are before the audience is ready to handle what comes with that.
Did you test the market and see if they were ready? And can you share what the audience what that looked like? How did you test that?
Yeah, I held some private previews where a few people, some of them I didn't really know, I kind of just put it out there, and whoever wanted to come, I would go through teaching the process, getting feedback, how I teach the mental detox process. I've sold some of my journals, both the hardcover and the digital as well. But over the 14 months, I kept putting information out there and asking a lot of questions. And then on top of that, I watched other people online. I watched what they would say about situations they're in. And then I would personally message them and kind of just get a feel. Why do you feel you're stressed? Or is there something I can do to kind of see if they would be open to working with me? Some people were, and some people just weren't ready yet. But what I learned doing it this way, opposed to how I started the first business, was that I really was able to kind of see what works and then also what works best for me as far as getting the information out there. Because how I'm getting the information out there now is completely different than how I was getting information out with my previous business. And I learned that the hard way, that you can't try to repeat success.
So tell us what's working for you now in your business.
Well, what's working now is the one-on-one contact. Even though I'm right now, I'm posting a lot on social media, and I have been getting people, messaging me saying that the information is working, or they're buying their journals, or they're enjoying the information and they're sharing it with other people. What I notice is that one-on-one contact, because I am talking about people's mental state, this isn't something that can really be a group type of activity. And so when I contact people and say, hey, here's an article, or here's something I think would help you, I find that even if they decide not to work with me, they will tell other people. So it's that personal touch. Now, I am known for, sending handwritten thank you notes after events and things like that. But the one concept that I kept from my previous business is the personal touch. And I think people now appreciate that more because we're so inundated with buy online, and so much, so many different messages, that when you feel that someone is actually reaching out to you personally about something that you are going through, it adds a different element. This person may not be right for me, but I know so-and-so may benefit from them. So it's that personal touch that I am using as like the basis of my marketing efforts. So it takes a little bit longer. It lasts longer. The deeper the relationship is, I believe, the longer those people will be able to support my business. Maybe not them personally, but they will refer other people.
So tell me, Vernetta, how do you define success? What does that look like for you? And how long did it take to manifest in your life?
Well, success to me is waking up every day in a good mood. I know that's probably not what people want to hear, but for me, I lived with depression for 20 years of my life. And so to be able to actually get up and be happy and enjoy what I do, it's a completely different feeling. Because now I know, I can go out and I can conquer the world. I can do things. So the money, the accolades, all of that comes secondary to my peace of mind. If I wake up and I'm not in a good mood, then I have to stop what I'm doing and do my mental detox strategy that morning and make sure that I set the intention for the day, that peace will reign over everything I do. So success to me is waking up with peace. That's it. If it's not peace, I know that it's going to kind of affect everything else I want to do.
And I think that's a great definition of success. And that's the beauty of being authentically you and authentically who you are, because how you define success, and that's why I like to ask Black entrepreneurs, because each one of us decide what success looks like for us. And you cannot pay for a peace of mind. And
no, you can't.
it's so that is so profound. I was chatting with a relative, and the relative had individuals staying at their home, and this relative is like almost 90 years old. And now that the individuals are no longer living in her home, she's like, you can't pay for a peace of mind. So I think that that is really key. And because of what you're doing, a Toast to Truth and the Truth Confidant, it all aligns to who you are. So I think that was a great answer. Vernetta, can you tell us what is a daily or weekly habit that you do consistently that has given you the greatest success?
I would say journaling. Journaling is something, and it's different than diary writing. I try to get people to understand it's not like the 12-year-old girls we were writing, Dear Diary, I like so-and-so. But I've been journaling for years. When I came across some research on the therapeutic benefits of journaling, I really started focusing on doing it with more intention and purpose. And journaling is something that I do minimum 3 times a week. Right now, I'm doing a 40-day journaling fast where I'm journaling my thoughts, all of my random thoughts, because I'm doing Spring Out of Stress. So right now, a lot of people are bringing their stresses to me, so I need to make sure I get those out as well. So every single day for 40 days, I am journaling everything that's happening with me so I get that out. But for me, that is the constant habit that I have to keep, I have to rely on, because it is tied to me maintaining my peace, being able to release all of the thoughts and tension that arises. For me, it's journaling. For me, it's writing it down, leaving it in a journal so that I can go through the rest of the day.
And can you share with the audience, Vernetta, what is one valuable lesson you wish you knew before starting your business?
I mean, there's so many. But I would say the one valuable lesson is to not pull your debit card out for every single thing. And what I mean by that is every single coach, every single class, everybody who says, if you're my friend, support me, you can go broke. I talked about that in my podcast. You can go broke financially supporting everyone else because you're not concentrating so much on bringing in your own income. So the one lesson I wish I had known was to guard my money and be wiser in how I invested and how I supported others financially.
Very good tip and advice. Who are your top 2 influencers in your life, and what lessons do they teach you?
Okay, so I would say my mom. She is the complete opposite of me. I am a type A, borderline OCD person, and she's laissez-faire. She's go with the flow. Everybody loves her. Everything works out. She does not stress. I've never really seen her stress out at all. And so what I learned from her is to learn how to just enjoy each moment. I was so caught up in planning for the next 5 years, 10 years, that I would miss the moments that I was in, the good moments. I mean, there's moments with my family, with my nephews that I can't remember because my mind was somewhere else. So I learned that from my mother, to enjoy the moments that you're in at that moment. The other person, I never met her personally, would be Shirley Chisholm. She is the mentor in my mind. She's a former preschool teacher. I'm a former kindergartner and first grade teacher as well. And she ran for president. I mean, she did not let the boys club prohibit her from speaking her mind and doing what was right. And so just watching her documentary, Unbought and Unbossed, and seeing the tenacity that she has for her convictions, that motivated me to stand in my truth and stand by my convictions no matter what other people do or say. That people may not like it, but if I truly believe in my truth, then I will stand in it and I will fight for it. So those are the 2 people, my mother and Shirley Chisholm.
Vernetta, talk to a younger you. What advice would you give to a younger you?
Oh, wow. I actually wrote a blog post to my 18-year-old self last year, and it got so many people in their emotions. And one of the things I wrote to my younger self was, just because I didn't feel the love from my father I thought I should have felt, didn't mean that I needed to lash out at everyone else who had that type of love. And so let me explain. For me, I felt my father should have loved me a certain way. And when I would see other people having the type of love or relationships with their fathers that I felt I should have had, I kind of resented those people. Some of them are my close friends, but I resented them. And I realized that just because he didn't love me the way I wanted him to, doesn't mean he didn't love me, but I have to learn to appreciate and accept what people give me and how they give it to me. Because I can't force them to do what and how I want them to. So for my younger self, it would be to just accept and appreciate people for who they are and what they give you, and leave it at that. You cannot force them to be anyone other than themselves, because I wouldn't want anyone to force me to be anyone other than myself.
Right, absolutely. And the thing about that, Vernetta, is that we don't know what we don't know.
Yes.
And a lot of times in relationships and family dynamics, you really don't know what, and I'm speaking about my father, my mother, what they went through. And so parents do the best that they can do. Sometimes they do it knowingly. Sometimes they do it unconsciously, not knowing. You do have some family members that are not in their right state, whether they are using foreign substance or whatever, and they cannot give you what you want. I think that's so profound that you said how you accept that in terms of with your dad, because you don't know what he went through. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, in terms of his relationships. And so there was a relationship that I was in with a person sort of similar, and because her mother had passed away, she felt like she did not want anyone to talk about their mother and what they were doing with their mothers, because her mother was not living. And I thought that was a little bit different, but I respect that she shared that with me, so I wouldn't ever comment about my mother because of knowing that that caused some pain in her life. So I appreciate you being very transparent in reference to talking to the younger you. How do you blend, marry, or balance, whichever one of these words will fit with your life, your personal life, your family life, and your business?
Okay, so how do I balance it all?
Is it a balance? Is it a blend? Or is it a marriage? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
in your life.
yes. I would say for me, I'm going to use a different word, is priority of that day. Because
Love
each
that.
day, there's something that's more important than the others. So that gets my attention that day. And that's part of what I learned from my mother, be in the moment. So there may be some days where I'm like, oh, I need to do such and such. But then my nephews may call and want to hang out. And I don't see them as often as I would like to. So they're 10, 9, and 5. I'm going to hang out with them on that one day, for a couple of hours. So they are the priority that day. For my blog group that I'm over, there may be some emails or some proposals that I need to write up. They take the blog group takes precedence that day. Another day I may be, working on my podcast. So that takes precedence. So it's the priority of the day. So I usually plan out my week on Sundays. And I've learned not to plan out more than a week to make sure that I know what my focus is for each of those days. And usually I'll tell people like, hey, I'm not working on this particular project on this day. You'll have to wait until such and such day. That's when I'm going to focus on it. So for me, it's the priority of the day.
I like that. I'm going to have to take that from you. Vernetta, share with us, what is a technology tool or a technology platform that is a must-have for you in managing your business?
I would say Hootsuite. I know I'm probably the last dinosaur on earth who uses Hootsuite, but I've used it for so long that it's just natural for me. I normally don't like to schedule anything unless I'm doing a campaign like I am right now with the Spring Out of Stress. But if I am scheduling, it is Hootsuite because I have the app on my phone. I have it on the computer. For me, it's easy. I like easy technology. If it's not easy, then I'm not going to do it. I use if then that, but it's too confusing. So I go with Hootsuite.
Let's talk about risk or failure. What is the worst moment in business and what was the takeaway?
It's funny because I have so many. I talk about them on my podcast, but I would probably say the biggest failure I've had was investing and putting so much money into an idea that I wasn't exactly clear on, to the point where I became homeless. And I talked about this in an entire episode that I became a homeless entrepreneur. Come to find out, there's quite a few homeless entrepreneurs. They just don't talk about it because it's not like the most, the thing you want to start with. Yes, I'm a homeless entrepreneur, but I can manage your social media, And so it was a humbling moment. It took me a while to really come to grips with how I had allowed my finances to get the way they were. It goes back to that advice that I mentioned earlier. The biggest takeaway I took from that experience is I learned who I was at that time. I learned how gritty I can be to get out of the hole that I had dug myself into. And I also learned what people mean by, who your true friends are. You learn that you can't rely on other people to solve a problem that you got yourself into. You can rely on people to support and encourage you, but it ultimately is your responsibility to fix the problem that you created. And so it took me a while to kind of get back on my footing, but my goal was by December 31st, 2016, I would be 100% debt-free in business. And on December 30th, I was 100% debt-free in business. So I really took to heart that if I never wanted to be in that position again, I needed to make smarter decisions. And I needed to get out of the financial mess that I was in. And so it was humbling because that meant I couldn't hang out with people. I couldn't do as much as I wanted to. But it also gave me perspective on if you really want to be successful, you need to own the mistakes you made and correct them. So that was probably the most humbling experience I've had.
So tell me this, Vernetta, are you managing or running your business full time now?
I am not with the new business. I teach, and I've been teaching ESL for 10 years, off and on, but I'm back in the classroom now, and I'm using this opportunity to make sure that I have my finances the way that they should be. And it's also giving me money that I can invest into the business. I didn't have that the first time around. I left public school teaching. I needed a job. Someone said they would pay me to do their social media, and I kind of just ran with it, not knowing what I was doing. This time around, I actually understand a lot more of what it takes to run a business financially. And I know how much money I need to have as far as marketing and running ads and being able to reach the people that I need to. And so teaching is allowing me to pay my personal bills and put some money into my business so that I'm not receiving money from a client and then deciding, am I paying rent? Am I paying phone? Am I, trying to decide what you're going to pay off of that one client's payment. So yes, I am working now, because for me, I need to be on a solid financial footing before I jump back into full-time entrepreneurship.
Talk to that person in our audience that want to start a business. They're fearful. What advice would you offer them, Vernetta?
I would say follow your intuition. What you think will work, you have to try it. You have to test it out. A lot of times we get so excited that we have this idea and we're going to make all this money, and we see all these people online with their reports and they're making six figures and all of this. You have to actually see if people want to buy what you are selling. If people aren't interested, it's either you have the wrong audience or you aren't speaking to that audience in a way that they are going to be receptive. For me, personally, what I've learned is because I am an educator, I usually speak at a higher level. And so my messages always had words that were at a higher level than the audience were receptive to. So I had to learn how to simplify my message. So if you are a new entrepreneur and you're scared, test the waters. Don't leave your job just yet. You want to make sure that you can, take care of your financial responsibilities, but test the water. See what works and see what your audience connects with.
Very good advice. What book would you recommend to the audience and why?
I am a book snob. That's what I like to call myself. But there's this one book. The one book that I would say that people should read is called The Circle of Fire. And it's by Justina R. Page. And she is a local Houston author. Her family story about losing one of her twins in a tragic house fire, it really motivated me. And that was one of the precursors of me starting the Truth Confidant. But I don't want to give the book away because it is such a powerful story. But if you were in a hole, what I talked about earlier, if you're in one of the dark holes, that story will give you the inspiration and motivation to get out of that hole and really look forward to creating the future that you want.
And that book is on Amazon?
It should be on Amazon. I think it's sold everywhere, but it's called The Circle of Fire by Justina R. Page.
Vernetta, if you conducted this interview, what is the one question that you wish I would have asked you, and I need you to answer that question?
I would probably say, why did you decide to close Women Are Game Changers? And to answer that question, I decided to close that business after 5.5 years because I was tired of it being a financial drain on my bank account. There's a difference between making sales and having revenue and being profitable. It's nice to have money coming in, but if you're not actually in the black, then I would probably say you need to reevaluate how you're running that business or how it's structured. And for me, I decided to close the business for a couple of reasons. One of them being the finances just weren't lining up the way they should be. And the second reason is what the audience wanted from the business was not where and what I wanted to do anymore. I'm looking to educate people on taking care of their mental health, especially if they're entrepreneurs, and they just wanted me to post and do inspirational things. So when you are running a business and you are not aligned with what the customer wants, you're going to have to make a decision. You either give them what they want or you decide to say no and close up the business. That way you're not continually putting money into a business that's not being profitable.
And Vernetta, can you share with our audience a parting piece of advice you want to offer?
I would say for all of the entrepreneurs, especially the aspiring entrepreneurs, this is a journey. It's a marathon. So don't think as soon as you start, in a month you're going to have all these social media followers and all of this money and all of these accolades. You want to build for the long term. And in order to build for the long term, you have to be willing to do a lot of things you don't want to do in order to get to where you want to be. My advice to you is to decide where you want to be. And it's not always you want $1 million business or something like that. For me, I want to be in a constant state of peace. So what does that look like? I then decided how I wanted to build a business and a life based around being in peace. So you need to decide what you want and then build everything around. I always tell people that one word. So for me, the one word is peace. Whatever your one word is. If it's money, hey, it's money. Then build your business and your life around that. But that one word will keep you centered and focused every day on the decisions that you make.
We're going into the Fun Facts Lightning Round. And what this is, Vernetta, is where I'm going to ask you a series of questions and I want very quick answers. And this is going to allow our audience to get a little sample of who you are as a person. Are you ready for the lightning round?
I am ready.
All right. Tell us the last movie you saw.
Oh, goodness. I'm trying to remember. Right now I'm watching this series on Netflix called Celia for the Cuban singer. I can't remember Get Out. The movie Get Out. I did go see that at the movie theaters.
You relaxed doing what?
The movie Get Out.
No. You relaxed doing what?
I relaxed taking a nap.
Your favorite singer?
I'm not really into music, so I don't have a favorite singer.
Your favorite dance song?
I would probably say Yoga by Janelle Monáe.
What food you eat every week, no matter what?
I would say ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
Your favorite month?
July, my birthday month.
What is the best way for our audience to connect with you?
Twitter at VRFREENEY at VRFreeney. Twitter is the easiest and best way to contact me.
Well, that is a wrap for us, Vernetta. We are so honored to have AKA the Truth Confidant on Black Entrepreneur Experience. We want to thank you again for spending time with us.
Thank you so much, and I really hope that your audience was able to take some things that I shared today, and I wish them all the best of luck on their entrepreneurial journey.
Thank you so much, Vernetta.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening and subscribing to Black Entrepreneur Experience. We would love for you to leave a review and rating on iTunes and share with your friends. For show notes and more episodes, go to www.beepodcast.com. Join us next Wednesday, and remember, green is the new black. So keep your bank accounts and your business in the black.